Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and back again on Sober Grind.
Sober Grind.
With a very special guest. Yes, sir. As always, my name is Austin Armstrong. I'm joined by my amazing co-host,
Pej.
And we have a wonderful guest with us, Daniel Garza. I'm going to read his bio, but pretty much let him take the show here. Daniel G Garza has been an HIV/AIDS advocate since 2001, focusing on education. His participation in several committees, both in Texas and California, have allowed him to gain experience in how culture, religion, and demographics can impact the information, prevention, and conversations regarding sex and sexuality are discussed. In Southern California, he concentrates on sharing his story at high schools, colleges, and universities. On a national level, he has been featured in HIV/AIDS magazines, as well as social media campaigns, also sharing his story, attending national advocacy conferences where he learns and shares innovative ways to make the information available to more students. He also is 11 years sober now. He's got so much going on. So everyone say hello to Daniel. This episode is all about overcoming adversity, so let us know if you have any comments or questions about this. We'll be stopping throughout to talk about this, but Daniel, the floor is yours. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself, what all you got going on.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. This is really cool. We go back a little bit.
We go way back.
It's really exciting. Funny how the world puts people together.
Sure
but hi,
is.
my name is Daniel G Garza. My sobriety date is June 21st, 2007.
It's amazing.
So I just hit 11 years, and it was really great because I was at a conference in New York, a sober conference,
right,
when I hit 11. So it was really cool.
That's amazing.
Nice.
What else can I do? Everything pretty much is there. I'm Mexican, in case you haven't told.
Really? I thought you were Persian.
Yeah, do not adjust your computers. This is my natural color.
You also have a great podcast, right?
I do.
6 years?
What's the name of your podcast?
My podcast is called Put It Together.
Put It Together.
Check it out.
I've been on the air since 2012.
And how can people find your podcast?
You can go to Facebook. Facebook, look for Put It Together podcast on there, or go to abnormalentertainment.com.
Abnormal.
Not
normal.
Not normal.
Okay.
What is normal anyway?
Abnormalentertainment.com, and that's where you find the production company that I work for. I'm an actor, a director, producer. Our company is called Little Mexican Productions.
Nice.
And we've been working now for about 10 years on different projects.
That's awesome.
I also have a Spanish show now called Mira Mira. So if you speak Spanish, and both the English and the Spanish shows talking about adversity are how people put their lives together or help other people put their lives together. And where they come from, where they are now, and the journey that they took to try to put their lives together.
Nice.
And that came about because I wanted to share with people my life coming out when I was 17, alcoholism and drug addiction by the time I was 20,
Right.
Sobering up, being diagnosed with AIDS when I was 30, and now the story adds cancer at 45, ostomy surgery at 46, diabetes at 47.
Wow.
And over the years, I've dealt with anxiety, depression, and PTSD due to health issues. As you can tell, I'm an overachiever. I want to do everything in life.
Talk about adversity.
Yeah, but everything hasn't been easy. It's been a challenge.
Right.
But I am a firm believer of the silver lining and the end of the tunnel.
Right.
And that's what's kind of pushed me through.
Very good.
You have
Awesome.
such an amazing story, and we're so happy to have you here. I mean,
Thank you.
we're going to jump in. I mean, Pej, you two relate a lot. I don't know how much you want to
I mean,
talk about
just
your story.
in here, I already knew that Daniel and I. If we go back, like I met Daniel. I know how I met you. I met you through Tony. Met a few years back, probably about 7 or 8 years back. I remember I went to Daniel's house and we just kind of rap. Like we our sobriety dates are within days of each other. So we're both class of 2007.
say congratulations to both of these guys. 11 years.
That's
Amazing.
right. June 16th, June 21st. So nothing good was happening in June 2007, or at least not in our worlds. But So Daniel, also, you know, everything that you're talking about, like what you've gone through, obviously, life will throw you a screwball. You know, every once in a while, like you never know what's going to come at you. And I know that with all of the things that you've gone through, especially in more recent times, I remember seeing you on Facebook talking about having cancer, and I was kind of going through it either right before or right after. I know it was in 2016, 2017 that both of us had gotten cancer. But I knew you were strong. I followed your story closely. I knew you were strong. I think I reached out to you. I just knew you were going to make it. You know, I knew you'll be fine. And adversities are always going to pop up in our lives. I mean, the point is I think that the whole time that I was going through my whole chemo treatment and all that, not once did the thought come up like I should get loaded. Like that's not even it's not even in my thought process. It's not even what I do. I don't even fathom the thought. It's not what I want to do.
Right.
You know, so I noticed that that you're just a go-getter. Like I remember we sat in your apartment in Laguna Beach many years ago, and you did like a tarot reading for me, and it was really cool. It was like I didn't even know you from Adam.
Yeah, he's also a tarot and a Reiki master as
well.
Right.
I'm telling you, all
a man of many talents.
You would never believe the stuff you read to me. How many different things came in? How many times when those things happened and came about, I thought, "Oh my God, Daniel was right. He was onto something, right?" So. Amazingly enough, like you're wonderful, and I want my girlfriend Solange to meet you. She will adore you.
Well, if you want to add to it, while I was going through cancer, is when I became a Reiki master.
Oh, that's when? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Because
I didn't know you to be a Reiki master before. I knew you were like just the tarot card guy. And many other cards.
I didn't have anything else going on because I couldn't work or do anything. So my Reiki teacher would come to the house to teach me, and I
explain what Reiki is in case people don't know what that is.
Reiki is translated to universal energy. That's what Reiki means. And as you grow in levels, you learn to manipulate your energy and read your energy and open your chakras.
Right.
To working on other people, to manipulating their energy and cleansing them.
Yeah.
To charging people with positive energy.
Right.
Cleanse them of negative energy. There's a lot of meditation that goes into it. It's really good for people going through ailments or their first years of recovery because it cleanses all that energy for you. So while I was going through cancer, I wanted to be clean of negative energy so my body could heal the best way possible. So talking about overachiever, I'm going through treatment and I'm learning to be a Reiki master. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Very cool.
But yeah, the card readings and it's all part of. On paper, it's really easy to look at because you read my little bio,
right?
And that's just like a quarter of what really goes on.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, it's hard to condense our lives and our journeys into a couple paragraphs.
But I'm not unique. A lot of us on paper, when you put down all the negative things that you've been through, people could say, there's nothing that anybody would say if I was negative. There's nothing that anybody would say if I was a bitter person and mad and angry at God and the universe and at people. But that's the easy thing to do.
Right.
It's easy to be mad at everybody. It takes a little extra, and it takes that extra mile to go, at the end of the tunnel, there's something better than sitting here in the darkness.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there are times when I love sitting in the darkness. That I'm
You?
Yeah, there's times when I just sit there.
Really?
I want to be mad.
Right.
Like my body starts hurting or I start aching, and I'm like, and I was a crackhead for many years.
That's what I was going to ask you next.
Yeah.
What, drug of choice?
Yeah, my last drug, because I went through the list, was crack.
And before that, what other things?
Coke, acid, X. I only shot up a couple of times, and of course alcohol.
Meth ever?
Once on a dare.
I think I remember you telling me that. I was kind of surprised. I was like, you did all that, but you didn't do meth?
No, yeah.
On a dare?
On a dare, and it was only for adult purposes. But
I'd love to use that as a segue to overcoming adversity. I mean, when you were in the midst of addiction, what was that pivoting moment that you realized you needed to make a change? And how did you overcome it? What were some of the things that actually worked for you?
The true story of how it happened. I lost my apartment.
Okay.
I lost my car. I lost my friends. I moved in with a friend of mine who lived, this is back in Texas and Houston.
Mm-hmm.
We lived on a 3-story, and on the first floor, there were 2 bedrooms, and one bedroom was for his dogs, and the other one was for me.
Right.
And I realized that my life was at the same level as a dog. Nothing against dogs, I'm just not a pet person. And I was like, wow, like I'm right there with dogs.
Right.
And then I had some court issues to take care of, and I was going to my UA test, my
Urinalysis?
yes, test high. I would do crack
Gotcha.
before I went to do the test.
Oh my God.
And yeah. Talk about wanting to get caught.
Yeah.
I think there's something within me was like, at some point they have to stop me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to. And the supervisor at my probation officer, his supervisor, Lana Park, I still remember her name.
Right.
Because she sounded like a superhero to me.
Right.
She told me, it's like, look, Daniel, you either go to rehab or you go to jail. And I thought about it. I was like Oz jail
You had to contemplate.
or regular jail?
Right.
Because if it's like HBO Oz jail, I'll go there. That's they took me to court. The final thing was I showed up to court because the judge didn't believe that I needed to go to rehab. So I showed up to jail after drinking half a bottle of wild turkey and smoking about $50 worth of crack. They couldn't believe when I walked in because I was the first one on the docket. I walked in, I was high, I smelled horrible because I didn't shower. And the judge asked me, he's like, are you an addict? And I started crying and I said, if I was supposed to check in on Friday.
Right.
And this was a Tuesday. And I go, if you let me go home now, I'm not coming back. And she said, you mean you're not coming back to court? I said, no, I'm just not coming back. If you let me go home now, I'm not going to make it. This is the end for me. And I was really ready to just give it up. And she said, okay, you're going to rehab. And when I got to rehab on Friday, I sat down on a couch and I took a deep breath and I sighed and I was like, I'm home. That was home.
Right.
June
Amazing.
21st.
Wow.
And God,
How long were you in rehab for?
3 months.
Okay.
And
And first time done.
First time.
That's
And I
amazing.
cried when
How old were you?
36.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Right.
I was crying when they said you can go home now. I was like, I don't want to go home.
Right.
Can I stay longer?
Yeah.
But yeah, God bless.
That's
Nonstop 11 years. And like you, it's just, I'll admit, I when I was diagnosed with cancer,
Right.
I wanted to go out.
Right. You entertained the thought.
I was like, if I could just do a hit and forget about everything right now, this would be great. Cancer's not going to go away.
Right.
But if I can go away for a minute, but I have such a great boyfriend. He took me out for tacos, and I'm a taco guy.
Yeah.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all taco
so
people on the
tacos
inside?
convinced you, your boyfriend and your tacos convinced you not to go out.
Not to go?
Because I was going to ask you the question. So if you were thinking about it, why didn't you? Then you kind of just answered
Yeah,
it.
no, I talking about adversity. Everything that I've been through. Again, if you line up everything that I've been through in my life against everything that I've accomplished in my life, the accomplishments are way bigger. But one outing would erase all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm too vain. I'm too. I'm proud of everything I've accomplished.
Yes.
You should.
There is, and you guys might understand this. There is a certain level of pride that goes into walking to a meeting or walking somewhere, and people say, "You're Daniel Garza," and I'm like, because when I was using, the only place they did that was at bars, because they were like, "Oh, there's Daniel Garza."
Yeah, it's amazing how that switched, huh?
Yeah, he's got something
crazy.
to sell, or he knows where the party is.
Right.
But now I walk in. I was, quick story. I was at at an actors meeting, and the person giving the speech, the presentation, everybody was running after him afterwards, trying to get a picture. And he turns around, he goes, "I know you." And I go, I'm like, "Do you know about this page on Facebook?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm that Daniel Garza." And he's like, he kind of pulled everybody aside. He goes, "Oh my God, I've been wanting to meet you." And he shook my hand. All these other little actors around, all these little girls were like, "Oh!" Then they all looked at me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm Daniel Garza." And yeah, I smiled, and like I could feel the energy just pouring out.
Right.
And he was like, "Email me. I want to talk to you." He goes, "Email me." And I went, I will. And as I'm walking away, I kind of looked over, and people are looking at me like going, "Who's that little Mexican walking off? Like, what does he have?"
Yeah.
And I have all these 11 years of hard work. That's what I have.
It's amazing.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to open this up to all of our viewers right now. If you have any questions, if you're going through any adversity, both of these guys have gone through so much adversity. Ask your questions away. Anything that you're struggling with, or someone that you know is struggling with. That's why we're here, and that's why we do this.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for any questions to come in, I'd love to pivot and hear from both of you about cancer. And while you both have overcome it, it's absolutely amazing. While you were in the thick of it, in the middle, what kept you going? What kept you positive? And what advice would you offer for people that are struggling with anything, any type of adversity in life?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, before I got cancer and I would see people talk about having cancer or hear that that person has cancer, I might be in a meeting or something and somebody is like going through chemo and doing cancer treatment or something. I never really thought about like what would it be like to be in that person's position. I thought, well, that's very sad, and I feel for them, you know. But when it actually happens to you, it's a whole different feeling. I mean, it's like you really start to test your mortality. You know, like you don't know what's next. Like, what are you in for? But then what I thought about a lot was like, this is another illness, and before I had another illness, which would be addiction and alcoholism. And how are you going to deal with it? Well, how did you deal with your sobriety? You had to, when you found out that you're a full-blown addict and you came to terms with it and realization, what do? You treat it, right? So I went to treatment, and then I followed a spiritual path and went on, to the program that I went to, and I continued with that. So what was I going to do? Obviously, everybody turned into a doctor during that time and started wanting to tell me about how to go about my cancer in a holistic fashion, which I do not discount anything that they say as being helpful. I'm sure that factually, like, there's been people that have survived cancer by eating better or just going vegetarian and all that. But I come from a family of doctors, and I talked to my family, and they said, if there's professionals and there are doctors that work with this, you should probably listen to them, because they probably have more of a higher success rate. So I did exactly that. I treated my cancer by going through cancer treatment with oncologists and a cancer unit. So, and it was an experience. It really, at first, of course, it's heavy. Like, I'm not really an anxiety-ridden person, but there was a lot of sleepless nights in the beginning, especially when the fear of the unknown, like not knowing what stage you are, not knowing if you're going to survive this thing, and not knowing when the chemo treatment is going to start and how is that going to feel and all that. And but it all happens for a reason, I believe. I think that life isn't supposed to be all easy all the time. If it was all easy all the time, we wouldn't be able to recognize and know what life is about if everything was easy. Every positive has to have a negative, right? And cancer can be seen as a negative, but if you survive it, then you come out and there's a reason. Like, we have a purpose, obviously. And did you lose your hair? I mean, it wasn't a problem for me with me losing my hair. I lost some eyebrow hair, but I believe you did, right?
I did.
Right? I think I saw
It's good to find comedy in these dark moments.
Right?
Yeah, I lost my hair.
Yeah, most of my friends were like, "Well, at least you don't have to lose your hair." I'm like, "That's a good one."
Yeah,
Come up with something new.
I lost all my hair. Everything was gone.
Right.
When I found out, when the diagnosis, in fact, yes, laughter is fundamental. You have to laugh at situations. no matter how hard they are. Everything from birth to death and anything in between, you have to find the comedy in it or it will eat you up.
That's right.
I love that.
That's right.
So important.
Mine being anal cancer, my jokes were when I would go to the doctor, they're like, "How are you feeling?" I'm like, "It's a pain in the ass." But you know, I like to make cancer the butt of my joke.
Yeah.
Or it's all behind me now, but I'm just gonna sit down and enjoy it. And the nurses would crack up and they're like, "I can't believe." But I did 30. Okay, here's the way I did it. I was diagnosed on Cinco de Mayo. That's how Mexican I am. I was diagnosed on Cinco de Mayo. I finished chemo on 4th of July, and now they throw a parade for me every year. That's amazing. Every 4th of July, when you see those fireworks, they're because of me.
Think of Daniel.
Yes, and it's the gas. And
you had a lot of time to come up with these.
I know, man. When you're in bed during
the total butt of your jokes.
The day I was diagnosed, I got home. On the way home, I told my boyfriend, "I'm going to start a video blog because I'm a social media guy." And he goes, "Okay." So for 31 days of treatment, there are photos and there are videos describing how I felt. And there are days when I was like, it's a cool day. It's a good day. I ate something. But there are a couple of videos there where I am boogers and spit and I am mad.
It's the reality.
And I'm yelling.
Yeah.
And some people, I don't know about you, but here's my reality.
Right.
Cancer sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
It is horrible.
Yep.
It will suck the life out of you. So my suggestion is get a bigger straw and suck harder. Because you need to suck the life out of cancer and give it back to yourself.
That's right.
Yell, scream.
That's right.
Get mad, get happy. When people ask you how you're feeling, you tell them how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Because I've had people come to goes, "Well, my Aunt Gertrude went through cancer and she was always happy." She wasn't always happy. She was either high on drugs, or she
hid it well.
Yeah, or she lied because of you. She probably hated cooking you those cookies, baking, because that smell was horrendous. The smell of garlic forever was like, don't use garlic in my food.
Yep.
Get in touch with your feelings and own them. People around me were prohibited from asking me how I was feeling because I'm like, I'm going through cancer. How do you think I feel? It's in my ass, and I can't sit down forever. Like, how do you think I feel? And people were not allowed to say, "I'm sorry," because I told them, I'm going through treatment. I'm being helped. What are you sorry about? That I might live?
Yeah.
Is that what you're sorry about? So my final suggestion, if you're going through something health related like we did, feel everything. And when people ask you, be honest. And if you feel like getting mad, be mad.
Right.
If you're religious and one day you wake up and you're like, "Damn you, God," God understand. He's got a thick skin. G and I, we're good friends. He was like, "Let me have it.
That's right.
Give me your best, because I've heard it all."
That was actually, for me, the key through it all was my connection to God. I mean, truly, and I didn't have that before I got sober. And in order for me to stay sober, I needed to connect to God. And a lot of people cringe at the talk when they hear the talk of God. But I've come to the conclusion that I didn't create myself. I didn't create the ocean. I didn't create the trees and the birds. And I didn't create my beautiful dogs or humanity. So something greater than me has done that. And something greater than me will put experiences in my life, and how will I deal with it? And cancer is one of them. You know, and that's what happens. I mean, what I started to realize during that time was that this happens to people. You know, some people don't survive. Some people die. You know, you've had AIDS. There's been people that the second they're, diagnosed with AIDS, they deteriorate almost immediately. So you're a survivor of that. I mean, we're constant survivors. So if you're surviving and your heart's still beating, you're right. It's okay to feel your feelings. I felt emotions that I didn't even know I could feel during that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then it's all adversity. How do you overcome that stuff? So connection to God, connection to community. I'm such a workaholic, and I love to help people so much. That's kind of what I've committed to doing in my life. That during that time, people told me, just relax. And I said, well, Just let people help you. I don't know how to receive help. I know how to give help. They said, one of them being Earl, he told me, Pej, we're so used to helping people, it's okay to let people help you. Just let them. And I go, okay, fine.
But part of it too, because we're very equal in that.
Yes.
I was still going to do presentations, public speaking.
Me too. My mom kept getting upset.
Yeah. I would walk really slow up and down campuses, but I was still doing it. I was still doing readings for people at home.
Were you?
Yeah, and on the
that's
phone.
probably the best time to do it. More spiritually in touch with the universe.
And plus, I started off, and I still believe in the 12 steps, but if in that moment I believed in a higher power to help me through my addiction and my alcoholism,
then why wouldn't you
Why wouldn't I? Yeah,
because it only makes sense.
It's not, especially Catholics, it's not a different God.
Right.
It's the same person. He's up there.
We're always going to have ups and downs. We don't know. We may have more and more. Like, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's just life.
But one thing that I discovered, because we're talking about helping people,
right?
But it's okay to not, it's okay to live. But even in my sickness, whatever it is I'm going through, because I live with the 10% pain on a regular basis.
Right.
That's my level. Like this morning, I woke up with pain,
Right.
but I'm so used to it, it just doesn't bother me anymore.
Right.
But my purpose in life, and it's not like we are here to save you. But my purpose in life is to be social media, share a message,
continue to help,
whatever,
and
to help people.
Yeah.
And why would I stop when I'm not feeling well?
That's right. Yeah. You've actually, it's the best time to do it more than ever.
Yeah, that's when I'm more sincere. Drunks, children, and sick people will always tell you the truth. They'll always tell you the truth.
That's true. That is true.
Well, gentlemen, I love it so much. Both of you, your stories are incredible.
Before you sign out, I just wanted to say, so we do have another page on Facebook. It's called Ask an Addiction Specialist. If you guys ever have any questions, anybody's out there, if you have a loved one that's suffering, if you're suffering, or if you have questions, feel free. There's a link that's already up there, Ask an Addiction Specialist, or you can just join the page. We will add you. There's always professionals who are readily available that can tell you, can answer your questions. There's people in recovery that have been around for a while. They can answer your questions, but it's called Ask an Addiction Specialist. And then also the Sober Grind. This is not just a live stream that we do on Facebook. It's a podcast. It comes in many different platforms. Google Play, iTunes, and what was the other one? YouTube. There's on
YouTube. It's on iHeartRadio, Stitcher, pretty much anywhere that you're able to listen to a podcast. We're on there. And
that's right. And we would like for you to actually, when you come on our podcast, ask us questions, give us reviews, tell us what you think, tell us what you'd like us to talk about, tell us what you'd like to see in our future programs. And if you're in recovery and you've been sober for a few years and you'd like to be on the show, hit me up, hit up Austin, let us know. We'd love to have you on the show. We'd do a 3 to 5 minute testimonial. We'd even bring you down here live and you can be the star of the show like Mr. Daniel Garza. But
well, not like me, but similar.
Ain't nobody like you, my friend. But no, we would love, there's a lot of good things coming up. We are working on some awesome projects.
Yeah.
Also interventions, if you're ever in need of an intervention. I'm your man. You can call me. You can count on me. I'll do everything I can to either provide intervention services to you or put you in touch with interventions. And that goes for adolescents. That goes for adults, people with mental illness or addictions. I'm always available for you. You can call me. You can hit me up through Facebook.
Yeah, amazing. And lastly, this podcast is made possible by Beginnings Treatment Centers, an amazing full level of care from detox to residential to outpatient. They're centered out here in Southern California. You can reach them 24/7 at any time to speak to a friendly specialist at 800-387-6907. Gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure as always.
Can I throw one more thing?
Oh, yes, you can. How can we get more in touch with you?
Daniel G Garza at Facebook. That's the easiest way. Just message me. And one thing that I've discovered over the last being diagnosed with AIDS 18 years ago, there's a lot of crossover stuff. Mental health, addictions, AIDS or HIV, cancers. There's crossover stuff. And sometimes I felt like there was nobody that could understand that. It's like, oh, well, you just have addiction. How would you understand somebody with HIV?
Right.
If you feel like there's nobody that understands you, get in touch with me. If I don't have something, I belong to a international advocacy network. So if there's something that other than addiction that is afflicting you, please get in touch, and I will help you find the right person to talk to.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you, Daniel.
Daniel, thank
you,
you
sir.
so much.
So good to see you again, my
Thank
brother.
you.
All right. Until next time, Sober
Sober
Grind
Grind.
out.